Welcome to Nelson's English School, Standard 3rd, Subject SS. Lesson 4, Fire Farming and the Will. In this chapter, we will learn about three important things, fire, farming and the will, which changed the story of human beings forever. Now, the question arises, how did early humans first come across fire? Perhaps they saw dry leaves and branches catching fire in the forest. Fire gave out heat and light, so early humans started using fire to keep themselves warm. Fire also kept wild animals away. Early humans accidentally discovered that fire could be used to cook food. Perhaps a piece of animal flesh fell into the fire and got cooked. On tasting it, people found that this cooked meat was easier to chew and tasted better than raw meat. However, they learned the art of cooking food. We are not sure how early humans learned to make fire, but perhaps they discovered that when two stones struck against each other, sparks flew. If these sparks fell on dried leaves, they caught fire. Soon people began making fire by rubbing two stones together. This was a great discovery. As you can see in this picture, beginning of farming, as you know, hunter-gatherers wandered from one place to another. They noticed plants growing in the wild. They knew that these plants gave seeds which could be eaten. Perhaps they noticed that new plants grew where the seeds fell. So, humans may have tried dropping seeds on the soft ground. These seeds may have sprouted into new plants over time. With the start of farming, people no longer needed to move around in search of food. People had to settle down in the place where they had planted their crop. As groups of people started settling down in one place together, the first villages came into being. Now, as you know, farming methods improved over time. People were able to grow more food than they needed. Now they have to store this extra food. So people started making pots to store grain, first out of stone and then out of clay. These clay pots were baked in the sun or in fire to make them stronger. With villages having surplus food, all the people did not have to work in the farms. So while some worked in the fields, others had free time to do things such as making pottery. During this time, animals were domesticated. Domestic animals such as sheep, cows and goats gave milk, meat and wool. Some people kept large herds of domestic animals. It was not easy for early humans to move from one place to another. They had to walk everywhere and also had to carry their loads. Some domestic animals like horses and donkeys could carry some loads. But these animals could not carry very heavy things. Early people must have noticed logs of wood floating in rivers. This would have given them the idea of tying a few logs together to make rafts. This helped early humans to travel along rivers and also to carry loads on rafts. How did early humans invent the wheel? They may have seen logs of wood rolling down hills. This must have made them realize that fitting round logs under their carts would make movement easier. The carts could now move on uneven ground. Thus, the wheel was invented. Land travel became easier and faster. Thus, with the use of fire, farming and the wheel, people's lives became more settled. They were less dependent on nature than before. They had more time to think of new ideas because they did not need to spend all their time looking for food.